And good morning. This is Bruce Pearson coming to you live from Morristown, New Jersey. We're at the Eastern Regional Jersey Access Group Conference. We're on the convention floor. Quite a bit of noise in here this morning with the activity going on. I have a very unique guest with us today. Jay Robertson has come a third of the way around the world.
Seems like it.
With us. He's from Hawaii. Not the big island.
No.
The best island, they say. And so, without further delay, I would just like to introduce our guest for the first segment of today's broadcast, and that's Jay Robertson. And Jay, just begin by just telling us a little bit about what your title is, your actual title with your organization, and then we'll investigate what you do.
Sure. First, Bruce, I have to say aloha.
Aloha to you, too.
And it's great to be here at 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that, as it feels.
Killer jet lag.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's always something when they start these meetings early in the morning, and I'm like, you have no idea how early. But, you know, community media has been around for a quarter of a century or more. Hawaii is fortunate that our state legislature mandated it. There's a state law that created public education government access for all the communities, and each of the island has their own franchise. I'm fortunate enough to live on Kauai, which is the Garden Isle. We've got all the beaches, the waterfalls, and the green, beautiful tropical scenery. So it's kind of a tough row to hoe. But with that said, I run an access operation there. We've got an island of about 70,000 people now. The population continues to grow. So we have two different facilities, one to serve the people, and it's more really to keep people off the roads so they don't have to drive. It's kind of prohibitive, our traffic. We've got 2 lanes and it circles the island. So to get around is a challenge, and we put satellite locations out to just kind of keep it more local and close to home. So a big part of what I do is to just maintain all the facilities, keep employment going, and provide a real quality service to the island. We do a lot of work with our county government. We produce shows with the mayor. He talks about his different departments and programs and what's going on with solid waste or public works or whatever might be of interest to his constituents. And we regularly televise all the police commission meetings, the planning commission meetings, and the county council, which is a challenge in itself because especially during an election year, they know they're on television. Those meetings go rather long. They do hog the air. Go to a particular cable channel, drop down and find whichever island you want, and then be able to watch any of the government meetings that are provided in the video on demand service. So if you've moved from one island to the other and you still want to keep track of what's back home, you could do that over the internet, and thank goodness for things like, Jersey Talk Radio, internet TV, and this is a fascinating concept that you've got here. I love what you're doing. I'm really impressed.
There's a million questions that follow out of what you're doing, and I think that the viewers and listeners might want to take a look at the structure of what you mentioned about, the type of programming, and also what geographic area you cover, which is that island. But you are, as in most of the access groups nationwide, you're based on cable company distribution.
Absolutely.
Do you simulcast anything on the internet?
The others do. I do not simulcast. We do have a video on demand on our website, and we're probably going to get into live streaming maybe later this year or early of next year. We're fighting a lot of technological battles and trying to get like HD channel allocations, things like that. But first and foremost, how do we really distribute the program and get it out there in the best way possible?
Another question that I think is central, both to people that aren't involved in the industry and certainly the folks like you that have to produce the programs. How are you funded, and where and how is that structure, and how much of the burden do the taxpayers bear, and is there an opportunity to offset that, if you will, with corporate sponsorships or anything else that would make it ease the burden and improve what you can provide because you have the funds?
To an inventive and kind of an interested party, I think it's a funnel going open, and it's a really open network. We're one of the most unique states in the country. There is a state law that creates us and provides a funding mechanism. It is all paid for completely by the cable operator based on their use of our public rights of way and the number of subscribers that they have. They do, because the feds allowed them to, pass that on to the subscribers. So all of our money actually comes from the cable viewer's pocket. And there's a 5% collection that the state has the authority over. We get 3% of that to run our operating. And so it's actually quite lucrative. Because of the geographical nature of the islands, you pretty much have to have cable. Satellite transmissions don't always work. The footprint, they've moved the satellite way south, and so it's difficult just because of the angle.
Yeah, the look angle is tough.
It's
Very
really
tough.
hard. So cable is king. The saturation rate is amazing. Now on Oahu, though, the local telephone operator, Hawaiian Telecom, does have fiber all over the island. So the Department of Commerce, who is the franchising authority, takes 1% of the entire state, which is equivalent to about $2 million. We get 3%, and that varies by island. And I don't want to, I guess I might as well spill the beans.
It's public knowledge anyway.
In Honolulu, they get close to $4 to $5 million a year for operating. On the Big Island, which has quite a large population, they're getting about 1.8 million, somewhere in that. Maui is same amount, 1,618, and then I get 500,000. So we're the ugly stepchild of the bunch, but we do everything that they do on a smaller scale. But I kind of have a knack for business and managing the money, so we've done quite well with what we've got. I think $500,000 a year is remarkable, and if we're smart about how we use it, we're going to survive, and we've survived very, very well. We've been able to completely transform everything. When I started 15 years ago, we were an analog operation. It's now completely digital. We're using high definition cameras, although the cable still kind of ruins the product because we can send out a digital and high definition signal, but they're going to crush it back into analog and then transmit it. So our funding is secure. Now capital is a completely different entity.
So that's an operational.
That's operational money, unrestricted. I can do whatever I want. And then we negotiate our capital based on needs. But just for argument's sake, we've all agreed that we'll take $3 per subscriber, and so I'm getting
that away against upgrades and
so I get $75,000 or $70,000 a year for capital, which is restricted. The Oahu people, though, get $880,000 a year.
That's a pretty decent budget, I'll tell you.
That is.
And, you know, and you'll have the folks back here on the mainland drooling because no one gets that kind of money.
I hear the stories back here, and it kind of breaks my heart how they struggle, how they're operating on a shoestring, how they have to depend on volunteer support and go out and, you know, I do not ask for any grant money. I don't apply for grants. I don't look for any outside funding. I think it would be terribly unfair. I've got a dynamite proposal to make. I've got television channels. I've got great production skills. I could really take every grant I wanted to go to, I think, and it would be very unfair. We have so many other nonprofits and community organizations that really depend on that money to survive.
Right.
They are in that situation, so I refuse to go after other money. I gotta be smart with what I've got.
Yeah, you're not
and
a
live
pig.
with that. I wish I could get that message to Congress, but
that'll never happen.
But that'll never happen.
So let's transition, if you will, and that's good because that's very unique and that's remarkable. And you are blessed to have that kind of secure funding. There's no reason why that couldn't happen nationwide, but it hasn't, and I don't see it changing. Tell me about the type, how many staff people do you have, the makeup of your organization?
That changes a lot. We generally have 7 people that I work with, and that includes me.
Okay.
I do have 2 people that handle the media. One guy is actually a manager of the other facility, so he really runs that nonstop. We do education all the time. We're training people constantly, so there's a big component of that. I do have one secretary / clerk / admin, everything else that
you got to keep the record.
Keeps the office going, answers the phone, and welcomes people to the facility.
Certainly not excessive.
And then another part-time person whose job strictly is to provide government coverage. He's always on the job, whether the council's meeting or the mayor's doing his thing. And so that could be a challenge from time to time because podcast planning might meet in the same day. So we'll do that.
So you record one and you broadcast those shows live?
We do not. I will not do it live, and that is to their consternation. I had a councilman insisted that he go live every time he walked in the building, and the problem is they don't orchestrate their meetings very well.
They're
so
not
I've seen where the council can take
disciplined,
8 hours to produce a 2.5-hour program. But as soon as you can clean up those gaps, we'll consider that.
It's never going to happen.
If you take a 2-hour recess, or we're going to take a break for about 10 minutes, then I'll just talk more to the mic.
And what you're hearing in the background, folks, is the conference is now kicking off. We're in Morristown, New Jersey. You're with Jersey Talk Radio, and I'm with Jay Robertson from which island? Kauai.
Garden Isle.
Right. Which is seldom discussed directly. I mean, you don't hear Kauai. It's always Oahu or,
Everything is Maui, Island with the volcano, or Honolulu.
Honolulu.
The only thing I can say is we're the movie island.
Right.
Film production.
Production goes on there,
If you're familiar with Jurassic Park, Tropic Thunder, some folks of my generation, maybe Thornbirds, Islands in the Stream.
Right, that was a long-running series.
It's really unique because the island can take on the persona just about anywhere in the world. We have such a diverse island that you could be in the desert, you could look for maybe a Middle Eastern set, or you could be in the Wild West, or you could be in the tropic jungles of anywhere.
Yeah, people don't realize that when you get up on top of the mountain down there, and the last time I was there, it's you're up there.
Yes.
And it is not a tropical paradise when you're above the cloud line up there. Up at the observatory, it could be snowing or sleeting, or you think you were on Mount Cook or something.
Actually, they had snow up at the on top of Mauna Kea not too long ago.
Not long ago at all. But it's always great to come here and see how cold it is in New Jersey. It's been warm this week, so I don't know what's going on.
I have to apologize to our listeners and viewers because Bob Duddler was making the announcements for the room here. We're in the vendor room, and there's about 50 vendors here. So for a very specialized type of broadcaster, this is a very well-attended event.
I got to give you credit. This is not the most opportune place to be doing radio, especially with everybody else.
No, but one of the things that we pride ourselves on is doing it on location, and that's the real world.
You know, if you're live from here, and I have to say, if whoever's listening in, you need to be here. If you have interest in technology and communication technology, this is the place to be. I attend a lot of conferences throughout the country, and this is without a doubt the best trade show anywhere.
All the big players are here. All the key players, from lighting. I mean, you got Mole over there. You've got Ari. You've got Sennheiser on mics. Anybody that works in the industry, whether in audio or video or radio or media production,
you can find it here.
You can find it. All Avid is here. Blackmagic Design here. JVC's here. Panasonic's here. Prompter people are here. So any of these various assets, asset management, data management folks are here. TriCaster is here. New Tech is here. LiveView. LiveView is one of the high-end live streaming portable units in the world right now.
Yeah,
very big in Europe.
We do use that in Hawaii. It's really been beneficial for inter-island connectivity.
Oh, really?
To be able to, if the Senate or somebody has a hearing on one island, or if there's a particular issue, we can share that program live throughout the entire state. And that's something, again, that the Public Access Network created.
Well, the thing you were talking about, and obviously we've keyed in on that, but I've been in broadcasting for 41 years. The fact that we are now worldwide and that the folks back home can be watching this broadcast.
Yes.
And I think even more importantly, the other issue is it is not lousy quality. It is not SD.
No.
It is not VHS quality. It's full HD. We're broadcasting 720p. But the thing that we all as human beings have always wanted to do, and that is, I want to watch what I want, when I want. The video on demand capability is really changing the whole fabric of how people consume both audio and video content. I do 2 internet radio shows worldwide. I'm on with the Dark Matter Network, the old Art Bell Network. And the fact that more podcast growth every year allows people to access that material not in the middle of the night when George Norrie's on, or when I'm on, but when they darn well feel like it.
That's right.
That's a game changer. You know, when you see the networks promoting the fact that you can binge watch all of, you know, Hell on Wheels the whole season, or whatever you're interested in.
Over one weekend.
Over one weekend if you want to. I think the marketing people, and not to get too far afield here, but the marketing people finally figured out it doesn't really matter when the consumer watches the commercial, as long as they watch it.
That's right.
So let them do it when they want. I mean, you're old enough to remember when Bonanza was on at 6:30 at night. You either watched it on Sunday night or you didn't watch it.
That's right.
There's no replay. There was no VHS. You either played by their rules or you didn't play at all.
And there were no remote controls.
No, there were no remote controls. There was only 3 channels and so on.
You had to get up and actually turn the dial.
So, tell me the number of hours a month that you folks produce.
We're on 24/7.
But I mean, how much original content do you produce every month?
Well, on the public side of things, we really encourage and facilitate everybody else to do it. We don't take a voice. We play Switzerland in that regard. But we produce everything that is on the government channel. So other than the state legislature, we'll take a live feed from the Capitol for those hearings and
Would you do entertainment also, though, if I may interrupt you? Do you do entertainment-based program or sports program?
On the community channel, we've got one of the most eclectic guides anywhere. We have, and for public access, I think churches and religious organizations really get what it was all about in the original days, and they were prolific. They had about 50% of our programming when I got hired. We have more churches on now, but it is down to about 20% of our programming. We've just
expanded
grown
around it. Right.
Music is a huge part of what we do. A lot of music videos, original production for that. They write their own music, perform it, go on beaches in their backyard, wherever, to actually create their music video. We do have sports. We have a pretty active senior community that plays softball, and they get involved in games, and the senior centers are quite robust.
Do you solicit sponsorship and underwriting for those sports?
Nope, we can take care of everything. We will handle it all. And but what we do is, if you have an interest, we're going to train you, we're going to empower you, we're going to give you that voice, and then here's all the equipment you need. If you have more questions or you need more help, we'll step up and help you.
What kind of regular technical support? Do you you put a director on when you're doing a multi-camera show? Or?
We do.
Yeah.
If it's our job, but if it's your independent project, however you want to arrange it.
And how do you vet that in terms of technical quality and directing quality?
I don't care.
It is what it is.
It's your voice.
Got it. Okay, I just wanted to see what parameters you had, what constraints, and what your procedures and protocols.
We would like you to produce the best quality that you can,
right.
But we're not going to put that as a stipulation on you. Now, I know other places do kind of evaluate the quality. Pardon me. But one of the things that kind of bothers me is the state now wants to start measuring viewership. And to me, this is an exercise in free speech. So it's really the opportunity for me to have a voice and to speak, as opposed to how many people are listening to me. And I find that to be a very troubling, situation on the horizon.
That may or may not
Bob
be.
is much more powerful than I am.
Yeah.
Server technology. Their new InfoView.
I'm afraid we're going to deal with this all day, but that's okay. That's not necessarily the best criteria to use. I mean, I think your point is well taken. So. He's killing me. Folks, we're live at, as you can hear, on the vendor floor at the Jersey Access Group.
It's Bedlam
conference.
Central.
There's a lot of folks here. If you're anywhere in northern New Jersey, New York, within an hour or two striking distance, we're here Thursday and Friday. And you would, if you have any interest in the business, whether you're an independent producer or a media person or radio or television or distribution or signage, everybody's here.
Absolutely.
And the difference between the NAB, when there's 170,000 people in here, is you can actually stand and talk to the vendor without,
you can meet people, talk to them, get
getting
expert.
pushed along and have to wait 3 hours to push up to the booth. The problem with NAB is this is way too big.
It's huge.
You can't really do anything because you can't cover all the bases. It's miles of walking, and the vendors are so busy there's not a whole lot of time they can do. This is a much more intimate.
Much more. And you know, the workshops and the sessions that'll happen tomorrow
There's a
are
lot
fascinating. A great variety
Helpful.
of topics, everything from management and content distribution. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about are over-the-top delivery. What are the new distribution systems going to look like in the future? What is the future for cable? We all know that it is leaving that copper fiber, and we're going to be, without a doubt, in a variety of apps that are going to deliver the content. And it'll all be different ways of getting your television, which we've not been familiar with. So what is the future going to bring to us? It's not going to be turn on your television anymore.
Well, and it's not even, the line of demarcation between a TV and computer is gone. But now it's all going to mobile devices anyway.
Right.
I mean,
So you're going to use your phone, and you're going to watch, like you were saying, a program of your choice when you want to watch it. Your phone's going to be able to bring
and it
that all
does
to
everything.
you.
Bruce, do you have a...
You got to hit the stamp to win the prize.
Exactly, and they're just trying to collect the stamps. Anyway, thank you very much for coming in.
It's a
been
pleasure.
very
When I heard that you were coming, I got excited. I am part of the organizing committee, and I thought this is a great way to do things.
This is the future.
And I really appreciate
5 years from now, everybody will be doing it. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
But I saw 5 years ago that this is where it was going. But it took the last mile to be, the Wi-Fi, the content delivery systems to be good, and also for enough people to catch on. The momentum started to build. But what in a worldwide capability in high quality, it changes everything. So.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee you have viewership and an audience in Hawaii now.
Thank you for coming on. Safe travels back, and I look forward to seeing you over the next couple
Bruce.
days.
I really appreciate
Pleasure
being
meeting
here.
you, sir. Thank you very much. And just stay
Aloha.
with me a second. Aloha to you.